Yeah. Where they have no, what you're saying, where they have no must-dos, have-tos, ought-to, shoulds.
Yeah.
There's none of them around their heads. It's all taken care of, and then they're in front of the fire playing their music or with their people.
Exactly.
And that is fundamental good.
Yeah.
That's when you're happiest, actually, to be honest. On the 3-dimension, you can get happier than that if you go into sort of searching for it, high quality happiness through yoga and through meditation and
self-actualization.
Actually boosting the happiness has got so many levels to it, hasn't it?
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
Some people think just not being unhappy is being happy.
It's the happiness within that counts, because then if you do try and share your life with someone, you can actually expand yourself and allow other influences in without compromising everything about you. You know what I mean? You can actually be with yourself and bring something into
I can invite you to do something. It's just a training. I've trained myself to do it. It's to use I instead of you when you talk about something in general. When you're talking about when you get on a bus in London, you normally have to do this, and the ticket, and then you. Just to say, when I get on a bus, and
so you personally.
So you're taking what you're doing is empowering your statement. If you say you're projecting your statement out onto me, then I have to agree with it, and maybe I don't agree with it, and maybe it's just your own experience. So if you say I, you automatically put your own power behind that I.
First person.
And I call myself on it. If somebody says, oh look, you're using you, I go, oh yeah, and I go back to I again, and it completely changes the way I feel about what I say. If you put I there, you've got to own that statement. You can't make statements that are not true for you.
That's true.
It's a very fundamental thing. And we've been taught in school to use you, don't use the I, because it's egotistical and you're always drawing attention to yourself if you say I. So we're taught as youngsters not to use the I. So we get powerless speech, basically. We're walking about in sort of not powerless, but less powerful.
But yet we're individuals as
well. I am an individual.
We're alienated from our environment, from our natural environment.
Hey, look, try that all again. We are, instead of we are, I am an alienated individual.
I did it then, didn't I?
No, but no, you didn't say you said we.
I said we.
But it still, it puts it out into everybody's got to be like that, or are there exceptions to that? Or
well,
if you say I am an alienated individual.
I'm an alienated individual.
And continue with the rest of it now using I, and it becomes more interesting.
I see now, that's how it works. I think the collective, the need to feel part of a collective is my insecurity.
Yeah.
I can't cope with my alienation as much, and my way of dealing with it is by saying, "Oh, we, the human species." Are conditioned in such a way
But I am conditioned in such a way, and other people are as well. You can add that, because you don't want to be alone in it. There definitely are other people. Everyone, it seems to me, is being conditioned at some level or another. Even if you're of course they are. Even if you're a tribesman in a completely uncontacted tribe in the middle of the Borneo jungle. You still have got a mindset which is conditioning, which is a tribal, environmental, cultural, sociological grouping in which you are, is your conditioning. You can't see out of it, you never go out of it, and nobody ever takes you out of it, there's no way out of it. So you stay in that your whole life, and you're happy inside that. And it doesn't change over millennia, because it works. And they've evolved to as soon as they contact other outside people, things start changing, but basically we're all subjected to our own, it's obvious, isn't it? And we're all conditioned.
Yeah.
We're totally conditioned by our environment and the people who brought us up and the teachers that we had in the street that we lived on. What our friends were. And it's total conditioning.
That's true.
And you can decondition yourself once you realise that conditioning actually wasn't very creative.
No.
You can start reconditioning
walls, yourself. Just walls that you don't
more alienation
break through,
just teach you more.
Which brings us back to another point that we were talking about last night, is the language that you use to describe the human condition is the language of the oppressor.
The language I use.
Not you use. It's just
you have to say I.
The language I use. I'm borrowing a language that has been handed down to me from pretty sort of oppressive kind of areas of the society. You know, the English language has been the dominant.
Samuel Johnson, man, he was the New World Order. You know, like the dictionary is founded on lexiconography of empires and wars and control.
Yeah, exactly.
Most of the words are to do with that.
Yeah.
War and stuff.
And
You
obviously
can see it. You know, the whole of our legacy is war oriented.
The 20th century was just complete. The way people have evolved nowadays is that they've got so much stuff that, you know, technology orientated, like PlayStations and all this sort of crap.
Yeah, and that's just Alex Jones says that's actually
Consumerism, like.
making it okay to kill people virtually on a machine. You can virtually kill people that look almost exactly like human beings on a PlayStation or whatever, and it makes you inured to killing people.
Yeah.
And then they take you from there into the Hitler Youth Movement or into the Obama Youth Club or
American Army or whatever.
You go and shoot your grandmother, and it doesn't matter. You know, basically.
Dehumanize.
That's what all these school shootings
are related to, definitely.
And their drugs are doing that, man. Their drugs are creating psychotic people. And millions of kids on Ritalin.
Well, even the food chain. You look at the food chain, you know.
The food chain's just full of toxics. Aspartame, man, is a serious neurotoxin as well. You know?
Yeah.
And they're just jamming everything they can into the food to keep people numbed, dumbed, and dying.
Yeah.
You know the Georgia Guidestones? Do you know them?
Sorry?
These stones suddenly appeared overnight in Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
And they're huge, like Stonehenge thing. They're really tall. And it's written on there, the New World Order agenda. You look up Georgia Guidestones. And the top one is that the population of the Earth should be stabilized at 500 million. 500 million, which is 85% of the population. It's 6.5 million now. And it's written there, and then the rest is all New World Order stuff underneath. And it's all carved in stone, 25 feet high. Great big huge stones. The Georgia Guidestones. You look them up. They're serious. You know, they've written it out in many, many other ways. The New World Order has its agenda. They published it, you know, through the Council of Foreign Relations, through Plans for a New America, for all, you know, Plans for a New American Century, and all the documents that they brought out recently have all been about, you know, counteracting these mythological terror freak-out things that they're creating in the first place. They are creating all of the fear. And then marketing, you know, then controlling people through people really willing to give their freedoms and their rights away, you know, for so-called protection from their own fucking problem action solution thing, the Hagen dialectic it's called. You know. You create a problem, offer, you know, get all the crisis moving, and then offer a solution, and people give it to you. Yeah. Please help me, you know, help me.
Yeah. You are both the problem and the solution. All wrapped up in
all
one
that, and you're just a poor slave, you know, surveyed and monitored and told what to eat and drink and sleep and smoke and what you can and can't do from dawn till dusk.
I've seen on that Michael Moore thing that the top 10% of the population, wealth-wise, owns over 80% of the wealth of the world.
Yeah. I know, and you go even higher, like 2% of that. Rockefeller family, the whole family Rockefeller, it's a big family, a lot of stuff. They have enough money to give every single person, man, woman and child on this planet $100,000. That one family. They could give every man, woman and child, even the poorest African village, give this little incy-wincy little starving child $100,000.
It's sickening to think, like, you know,
Isn't that
where
incredible?
the power lives, you know.
Isn't that incredible, man? What would that do to the world economy?
We could all live comfortably.
Well, I don't know what that would mean, but I mean, it's just you can't even begin to think what that would mean if suddenly everybody on the planet received a check for $100,000. People would go into fucking ecstasy, and the economy would just go boof overnight. The whole planet would be boof, boof, and we'd be creating beautiful environments and parks because we didn't need to fucking cut the place down to feed ourselves with stupid cows and stuff we could create. But this whole valley could be replanted with oak trees and ash.
They developed the human economy along the lines of predatorial nature.
Exactly. It's a predatorial culture.
They show nature as being brutal. You know, that's why they always focusing on slow motion, the lion taking down the zebra and the zebra getting caught.
Yeah, predators and stuff. They love it, don't they? They love the predators.
And they rewind that and they say, well, you know, this is our nature. This is what we were put on the earth to do, to dominate, like the lion dominates the savannas in Africa. We dominate the planet and nature in it, and we have no actual choice or say in that. It's just what we were born to do, and we will consume along those lines until we all kill ourselves or destroy the world. You know, and it's a sort of bottom line kind of culture in nature that humans.
Well, we surely got to go beyond that, man. Surely we got to take another leap into something more creative and more blessed on the planet. More that the planet is happy to have us on here. She's not happy with.
Would women stop having babies? Would women give up the idea of motherhood to sacrifice their womanhood, their uterus, their reason for living or raison d'etre as
Yeah, but it isn't. It's pointed out to be that, but there's a lot of women that don't feel that, man. There's a lot of women that just don't feel that it's their thing to have a child. I know lots of them.
They do, I know.
And I don't think it's innate in a man to be wanting to be a father with person. You know, I don't think it's
much. Well, they're much in the minority. They're much in the minority.
Yeah, because that's culturally made. You're made to feel that culturally as well as everything else. Yes, everybody has to procreate themselves plus their spouse, probably. So 2 people, 2 babies is reasonable, and when you understand that, that's what you do. You're procreating yourself.
But to go going beyond nature is to actually take a cold and rational view of the world and look at it.
There might be a need, though. Sorry, can I just finish that? There might be a need to procreate rapidly because if the population is almost wiped out and there are only a few people left, and those few people, oh my God, the people that are going to be left at the moment are going to be sickening people, man, because they've got underground cities which can keep them alive for years, which they just drive straight into at 4-lane highways in Nevada. They just open the doors, these fucking steel thick doors like this, and go down into underground cities which have got 5 or 6 levels, all of them the size of a town, with every system you can imagine. There's zillions and zillions of dollars put into that, man, to protect the United States Army and generals and high government officials and people who control resources, FEMA management.
See themselves as being important.
Yeah, and they've got like a 30-second thing to get into their private jet and fly to the airfield, which is right in front of the fucking entrance to this thing. They have a secret code. The pilot knows where to go. Pull it into the tunnel. They've got 10 minutes or something. You know, they know there's going to be a nuclear meltdown in half an hour. Those guys are in there in half an hour, or like 2 hours. They probably know beforehand, but you know, they're going to be all right. But I don't want to meet them when I come out. Fuck that, man. They'll have their SWAT teams there, and any human that's still surviving, they'll kill them. They'll chase you to the death, man. You're the last surviving wild person. They'll chase you fucking to death. You've got to have weapons. The only weapons I know that we can have around here are bow and arrow. That's the only weapons. And James is an archer. He's a professional archer, man. And he's got like fucking beautiful bow there. Yeah, and his friend Kieran is coming here. Has a target bow which has got like ratchets and clip things on the end of it. Fucking hell, man. And it's got like, you know, got sights and everything, and you just pull it back and it's got a ratchet, so you don't have to hold it. There's no strain on your arm, and it ratchets back, and then you got a sight, and then you got a fucking trigger, hair trigger. You don't have to let it go like that. You just go, and the arrow just goes. You know, and you know the trajectory, and you know the distance, and the power of this pull there will give you that trajectory, and you can get like this. They said that this is filmed with this guy. There's a Japanese archer who is their hero. These 2 guys are archers, right? They said that their hero is this guy in Japan who can do the most incredible things with bows and arrows. He fires one arrow up in the air like that. He fires an arrow up in the air, takes another one, fires it, and splits the one that's up in the air. On film. And just awesome things. You know, hitting the bullseye right in the centre and then splitting the arrow in the bullseye. And just going like that. You know, it doesn't even... He only spends like a millisecond. And it just... that accurate. That's awesome. But they said they'd show me, but I haven't been in there yet. I haven't seen him. I've seen some awesome things on YouTube, man.
Mm.
Ah. Have you come across Chris Angel?
Not yet, no.
Chris Angel?
Doesn't ring any bells. I don't. I mean, YouTube for me, I'd be more.
Is that thing on or off?
That's on, yeah.
Will you turn it off?
Yeah, sure.
Because I don't want to eulogize about Chris Angel.